Pakistan cricket at its best. 1 minute down, next minute up.
Thanks very much, everybody, for joining me once again. I'm delighted to have this guest today. He's been a very busy man, jet-setting around the world, and he's finally made some time for me, so that's an absolute pleasure to have him. 47 tests, 156 ODIs for Pakistan, 18-year first-class career, former Pakistan captain, former Pakistan chief selector, 1992 integral part of the World Cup winning team, opening the batting there with Ramiz Raja. And these days, he's a familiar face on our television screens, the one and only Aamer Sohail. Aamer, thanks very much for your time. Hope you're doing well.
It's a pleasure, but I spotted a hint of complaint when you said he has finally got some time for me.
Aamer, you always have time for me. I know you do, and I always appreciate it. I think we met last time at Edgbaston, didn't we?
Exactly.
Last year.
Yep.
Great to see you again, Aamer. And I mean, I would just wish it was under happier circumstances, because at the moment, Aamer, Pakistan cricket is a mess. It's a total mess, isn't it?
Well, it was on the cards, to be honest, because I've always maintained, not many cricketers, they come and head Pakistan's cricket board, and people who actually get to the helm of affairs, they actually don't understand the politics of the game in Pakistan. It varies, and unless or until if you do not understand that politics, you're not in a good position to make the right decisions, and it's been accumulating. It's been on the cards, and finally, we are actually seeing Pakistan cricket declining, and it's only us to blame, us cricketers, nobody else. Because when you talk about people coming from a different walk of life and head Pakistan cricket board, they are actually dependent on us cricketers, cricketers' advices and their opinions. And unfortunately, cricketers have been giving advices, which for me is superficial. It's not addressing the root cause why the Pakistan cricket is declining. So that's where we are faltering, and the blame is on us cricketers, nobody else.
I mean, we'll come to the root cause in a minute, but I just want to make a point. People listening to this will say, you say that when people who don't know about cricket take the helm, we've had former cricketers who've taken the helm. You know who I'm talking about, who've been chairman, and Pakistan cricket has still suffered.
Look, when you talk about, I know who you're talking about, but the thing is, he was, you say, he was supposed to further the idea of getting rid of departmental cricket, and he was supposed to further the idea of having only 6 teams. We were trying to copy Australians, structure. But the thing is, we don't realize one thing, that the population in Pakistan is way, way higher than Australia. And then, kids over there, they have the options of pursuing a career in different sports. Tennis is there, golf is there, hockey is there, so many other sports, they can follow. But in Pakistan, the most revered game is cricket. And everybody wants to become a cricketer. So instead of squeezing the number of teams, we need to actually expand that. And that's where we were lost in translation. And in that particular time, you must have known that so many cricketers, they left Pakistan who were playing representative cricket, and there was a disconnect. So, he was victim of, or I should say, he was entrapped. So he couldn't basically make the decisions which he thought was right. He had to further that idea. And that's why he, in my opinion, slightly lacked. Other than that, decision he made, when you talk about pension of ex-cricketers, few other initiative he took, they were actually very good. So I think He was entrapped at that moment. But you know, if he had gone with his ideas, his experiences, I think Pakistan cricket was actually better served.
I mean, I want to talk specifically about the current players. We'll come to the root cause in a minute, but I personally think the players have to take some responsibility. As a former great yourself, are the current group of players not good enough? Think they're too good, or is there something else that's wrong with these players where their standards are rapidly declining?
Look, one thing is very important when you talk about development of the players. We have to emphasize really hard on the technique and the basics of the game. If you really see our batters, they're struggling. Uh, they haven't got that what should I say, ability to maneuver the length, to be able to keep on sticking the scoreboard, keep on rotating strike. We find it very difficult to take singles. And I remember when I was playing first class cricket, and I was very fortunate to play along the likes of Javed Miandar, Salim Maliks of the world, and they were basically a coaching book where you just have to stand and and basically observe what they are trying to do. Their emphasis was to score runs on good deliveries rather than wait for a bad ball. So that's where we learned the importance of getting off strike by taking a single. But here in Pakistan, uh, we are following a different formula. We are just so fascinated with the strike rate, and we are forgetting about the basics of the game. And if you see the modern day cricket, yes, positivity is required. There is no doubt about it, because 300 runs are scored in a day in test matches, maybe more. You score more than 325 in 50 overs. So the basics remain the same, whether there is so much of positivity or not. But if you face 300 deliveries in a 50 over game, if you are able to score 200 runs through singles and doubles, and if you add 24s or four sixes, what sort of a score you're going to get?
280, 300 plus. Yeah,
300 plus.
yeah.
So we are lost in translation. And then there is another thing. The another thing is negativity. What I've felt, the players, they feel a lot of pressure. They are actually playing to survive rather than playing for the team. If you select a player and you drop him the next day, for me, you are insulting your own intelligence rather than anything else. And what happens with that is there is a lot of negativity. See, when I say cricketers, we are at fault, and I am convinced that is the problem. If you see the the chairman of the cricket board, who is at the helm of the affair, he is trying his hardest. He's trying to inject money. He's coming out with the ideas of different tournaments. But at the end of the day, the outcome is not there. So the problem is, ideas, you know, can be conceived anywhere, but it's all about the execution. That's where we are lacking. Who is going to execute that? End of the day, it's the cricketers, it's the coaches, it's a collective effort. But if there is no collective effort, you're not going to reap the results, and that's where we lack actually, Sajid.
I want to talk to you about the coaches, Aamer, because we seem to have more coaches than wins at the moment. Foreign coaches are brought in. We brought in Jason Gillespie, Gary Kirsten. There was a huge fanfare, two of the best coaches in the world on paper. We kicked them out, bring in Akib Javed. Let's see how long he lasts. We keep hearing that he's interim. This lack of stability, this constant changes in Pakistan cricket, particularly with the coaches, Ahmed, that can't be helping.
Look, that's where I say we are at fault, ex-cricketers. Uh, when you select a coach, I say, okay, I need a coach for this team. You have to first decipher, what does your team want? What does your team need? If you don't know what your team is requiring, how can you make a right decision? Please explain it to me. So who who gives the advice that okay, he's the right person? That's where we are at fault, Sajid. First you have to determine why you need a coach. What are you wanting from him? If you don't know, how in the hell the coach is going to know that what am I supposed to do here? So unless or until we have a vision and we have a plan and we know how to execute it, we are not going to move forward. There's going to be negativity. Once negativity prevails, I think it does arrest the development. Simple as that.
Just coming back to the players, Amir, and I mean, you played alongside many great players, players with big egos, players who necessarily didn't even get on with each other, but when they had that shirt on with the Pakistan shirt, they gave absolutely everything. Is it fair to say that some of these players who are playing for Pakistan at the moment are performing well below the levels that they should be?
Look, it's painful to see that. It is really painful. But the thing is, see, when you talk about your first class cricket, there is no club cricket in Pakistan, unfortunately. That's where you turn to when you are struggling. You need to find your form and all that. Those are the games you go to, and you try and discover yourself once again as a player. Okay, unfortunately, it's not there. And then the emphasis is not on first class cricket. How many players do you think they are selected with a performance in first class cricket? Not many. So the thing is, uh, what I've seen is players not reaching the next notch. Yes, players, they come to on the international circuit, they create an impact, and after that they subside very quickly. And the reason for that is we haven't got good techniques. We haven't emphasized on good techniques. All we are emphasizing is ball striking, ball striking. It's a vast subject, but we only emphasizing on sixes, and I think that has been the bane of Pakistan's cricket. We do not prefer technically well-equipped players. We actually do not talk about techniques when we are commentating on Pakistani games. We are not talking about why this bowler is not, uh, you know, reaching the next notch. Why he has suddenly become stagnant. We're not talking about it unless or until we start to talk about it openly. Then the players will realize that it is very important to have hermetically tight defensive technique. I'm not talking about batters. I'm talking about bowlers as well. I'm talking about fielders as well. I'm talking about spinners as well. I'm talking about wicketkeeper as well. So unless or until we emphasize on technique, I don't see things changing for Pakistan, unfortunately.
I mean, when you played, Amir, India versus Pakistan were fantastic encounters, close encounters. More often than not, Pakistan beat India. These days, it's just so one-sided. It's become boring, predictable that Pakistan are going to lose to India more often than not. I mean, to me, Amir, it looks like the Indian the system, the domestic system, they're producing great cricketers because they're emphasizing the importance of playing first class cricket. Whereas our boys, their priority seems to be T20 cricket.
See, it's all about emphasizing and hammering the point that these are the kinds of players we need in the Pakistani side. Nothing short of that, no chance. See, when you talk about Indian cricket, they have raised their standard. There is no doubt about it. And look at the selection. When they actually choose a side, they have everything covered. They know Rohit Sharma is going to go out there and he's going to attack the opposition. They have number three, Virat Kohli, who can, even if you lose Rohit Sharma early, he's going to steady the ship. And even if Kohli gets out, they have Iyer, they have few other players, and at number six they have their wicketkeeper batsman. who's been playing very cautiously with measured approach. So they have attackers, they have conventional batters, and at number 6, 7, 8, they got dashes. So they have their things covered. They have good pace attack. They got good spinners, fielding side. They are very good. So it's the selection process, and the selection process is because they have created a culture where the basics of the game are very important.
And
If you
finally,
don't
Aamer,
have the
if you were,
basics of the game,
yeah, sorry,
you're not welcomed.
yeah.
Simple.
Finally, Aamer, if you were sat here speaking with Mohsin Naqvi, PCB chairman, and he's asking you, Aamer, how can we turn this mess around? We keep losing. We've lost to USA, we've lost to Ireland, Zimbabwe, Bangladesh 2-0 at home, knocked out of ICC tournaments in the first round. What needs to change? When are these dark days going to end? What would you say to him?
See, first thing first, I'm going to ask him that get your human resource audited, because these are the faces which have been involved with the Pakistan cricket somehow or the other for the longest, and we haven't reaped any rewards for that. So first thing first is, what is this human resource doing? Okay, first thing first, you have to really look into it. Once you find the answers, okay, these are the people who haven't been delivering. Okay, you have to get rid of them. You have to have people who are passionate and who actually know their job. Unfortunately, you are continuously enforcing the failures, who were given the chances in the past, but rather than them, those people who were the failures, learning and improving their skills as a coach, mentor, or whatever. Without doing so, they again come back to the Pakistan Cricket Board, nothing to show for. So unless or until you get rid of those failures, you're not going to move forward. And the second thing I'm going to ask him to do is club cricket. The club cricket is essential. Have it played all over Pakistan. There should be in Pakistan Cricket Board's constitution, it says there has to, in every region and every district, they got to have at least 2 tournaments every year. And now there is a third format, T20, and we haven't added that in our constitution, that there has to be a T20 tournament as well. And that gives you the measure how things are being run in Pakistan's cricket board. So unless or until you address that, I don't think we are going to see any improvement. And the most important part is audit of human resource. I've been saying it for a while. I've been saying it. I emphasizing on that. You got to do that. If you don't do that, you don't have a chance uh, to move ahead, because there are pockets of different groups and everything, and they have their agendas there. They have vested interests, and they are gaining a lot, but not the Pakistan's cricket.
You see any light at the end of the tunnel, Aamer, or is
There's
the
always,
as the
you
tunnel
have to stay,
or,
you
or,
have to stay optimistic.
or do you see an oncoming train in that tunnel, Aamer, or is there a little bit of light?
Well, there is always a light, but you have to look for it. You have to
Yeah.
look for it. If everything is dark, then you have to look for the light.
Aamer, really appreciate your time, and great to catch up with you. Always interesting and thoughtful views from you. And as I say, really appreciate your time, and look forward
Always
to
a pleasure,
speaking with you
Sajid.
again. Thank
Taj,
you very
always a
much, Aamer.
pleasure.
Thank you.
Cheers, man. Cheers.